All right, hey everybody, I'm Christine Morel and we are here with Manafest. Hey, what's up? Thank you so much for being here.
Super stoked. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. For everybody watching right now, I love artists that have like made it without a record label, like making a living, like killing it. And that's exactly what Manifest is doing. Can you show us your plaque that you just showed me a second ago? Like, holy smokes.
Yeah, I just got it on order because and they're making a couple of changes to it, but we're gonna put some different artwork. But I'm so stoked because a label never sent me this, but there it is. Oh, if it's popping up, there it is. 100 million streams, Spotify plaque. It's gonna go right back there. I'm so excited. So
So
excited.
cool.
So
100
thankful.
million. Okay. And by the way, for everyone watching, he actually has 130 million on that. So they only put 100 million. So that's huge. Like that's something I think most artists would be like super excited just to have 1 million. So to reach 130 million, like amazing, amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really humbling. It's all about the fans, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I really want to talk about today is, I want to talk about a little bit about how you've done it. And then now how you're helping other artists, start to kind of create a profitable career and build their own fan base. And you're being really like kind to let other artists know how you did it. So then they can just literally just follow your plan and just do it the same way that you've done it. So I'd love to start by you just sharing like, what did you do? Like, how did you do this? You've traveled all over the world, you've toured, you're getting crazy amounts of plaques. Like a lot of artists, like big artists with huge budgets don't even do that. What do you think you've done differently?
Early on when I started making music, I started actually more hip hop and then I leaned more rock and metal. And I still do hip hop for TV and film because TV film doesn't really lend itself to metal songs, more on the hip hop indie rock stuff. But early on, I started to write with different producers and I realized like I needed help to get a song done. I'm just a top liner. I write the hooks, the verses, lyrics, come up with the song ideas, but I need someone to help me finish and produce the song. And I noticed there's a big difference early on. The difference was between a beat maker and a producer, and a producer could really finish the song. And I was performing a lot. And I quickly realized the power of a good song versus just a song, and like literally that direct feedback from a show. And so I quickly started to see, well, who could make the hits and who couldn't. And I gravitated towards the guys that could really make the hits. And not only did it translate live, it translated at radio. And now, of course, it's translating in streams. And so, yeah, I actually focus a lot on the marketing side, but the best tool or the best tool or piece of gear you can bring to a studio is a hit song. The best piece of marketing you can bring to you, Christine, or me, from an artist is a hit song, right? A great song, a good song. And there isn't even room for good anymore. It does have to be great. And I find that that's where you got to find the producers that have the history, that made the hits, and invest to work with them. And you'll notice the people that are really good are normally the ones that aren't so quick to take their money. They're busy because they got people lined up at the door. And when they're saying no, or I don't got room, or it's going to charge you this, it's like, that's probably a good sign that you're working with the right person, but you want to look at their track record. But, I always like to say, it's just the people that I've surrounded myself with that have helped me, because I wasn't a good or confident songwriter or performer, marketer, any of that stuff, but I just surrounded myself with really A+ talent. And so that's what I would say was the key.
Have a good, yeah, like a product. Your song is your product if you're a business owner, and that's what we are. We're small business
Yeah.
owners, and I
Yeah.
think that's great. Now, when you first started out, did you have like sometimes like a new artist doesn't always have the budget, right, to like pay for a big producer.
Mm.
So do you feel like you kind of worked with some of like smaller producers so you could get better as an artist before you kind of went in that direction, or how did you kind of get to the place where you could do that?
You know what's funny? I had a full-time job as an IT guy and I was still living at home. And it's kind of crazy. The guys that were charging me for beats, they were charging me $500 a beat. And they really took advantage of me. Because if you look at beatstars.com right now and all this stuff and what you can get for, like, you know what I'm saying? And like I was just starting out. And I think they just kind of took advantage of me because they knew I had a full-time job. And it's wild. The guy that I actually worked with that could really make the hits, he was only charging me like $20 an hour or something like that. And so sometimes you can find these diamonds in the rough, these producers that are up and coming, that are just killing it. And I've been blessed to find those a lot of times where when I didn't have a lot of money. But I can remember when I quit my job to do music full time and went like $30,000 in debt, broke, didn't have much money. I remember specifically being in Eureka, Montana with my wife, and we're staying at some billet's house. We had to, and I remember the guy that was hosting us, he was a police officer. And I remember we're staying in, I don't know, maybe his kid's room or something like that. And I remember I wanted my buddy to produce this album, and he had just moved to Hollywood. He was working with Bieber, he's working with all these big producers, and he had already produced some hits for me. And that's where I was able to have some success. And I was like begging him to work on next stuff. And he was kind of starting to not work with the indie artists anymore. And I remember I talked to my wife, I was like, babe, like, can I like pay whatever it takes to work with this guy? And she was like, yeah. And so when he dropped the number, like he basically was trying to tell me a number to make me go away. And I was like, no, dude.
Like, yes.
I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. Like, I was kind of like, whatever it takes. Because I knew the value in good music. And I do want to, it's funny, I'm saying that, but I know how important it is. And I know how you know how important it is you got to market those hit songs as well too. You can't just have them, but I was willing to put in the hard work. So it was like invest in the music, but then invest in marketing it and pushing through and grinding it. So you put those two together and you'll be an unstoppable force, you know?
Yeah, it's funny. One of the producers that I worked with, literally was living at home with his mom and had like a little shack where he had his studio, and we recorded this song. I paid him $100, and the song, we ended up getting like 1 million streams. Ended up at that time, it was like MySpace, and it was like, I became in the top 10, searched musicians on MySpace for like a whole year because of this one song. So it's like you said, sometimes you can find these producers like diamond in the rough, and just kind of find, but be willing to invest in yourself and be willing to, and like you said, you kind of moved up, and then when you were ready to really invest in yourself, it makes a difference when you have a great song. So that's exciting. When you got into like marketing, because obviously I think musicians, we're really creative. So sometimes that part of our brain doesn't work. Like the business side, we're just like, I'm going to throw this on YouTube and let's see what happens. What were like the first things that you did? And if you could go back, what would you do differently to like make it, to be more successful faster,
Yeah, I wouldn't have signed with a record label. I wouldn't have quit my job so soon. Like I have a book called Fighter, 5 Keys to Conquering Fear. And I didn't write it for musicians, but I'm realizing how powerful it is because I share the story of literally going from 5 days a week to 4 to 3. I remember asking my boss for a leave of absence. And this is after going down to 3 days a week. And it was a salary job. So I had a lot of guts to be asking for that, not getting fired. It's incredible. But then I eventually quit. And that's like, even with that slow progression, and it was still too much because you don't want to kill one income stream until you've built another one. And I thought that the record label was going to be that income stream. I thought that the manager was going to be that income stream. And the number one rule of success is to maintain control. You can't put all your eggs and expect someone to come and save you. You know what I mean? You got to save yourself. You got to do the marketing yourself. You need to stay in control and learn that stuff. We had some pretty good success with radio. And so when I went independent, I thought radio was going to be my savior, so to speak, or my marketing channel. But it was amazing how I was the poster boy for a while when I was with the label. And as soon as I left the label system, it's like I was shunned. I was like now the black sheep. And so that was a real wake-up call. not just having one stream of income, but not having one stream of relying on fans or money for your music. And it's interesting, I still had the touring. So there was that. I relied on that heavily for a while. But then I took a year off before COVID, and then COVID happened. And then I'm sure a lot of musicians I know were selling their catalogs, and, because they were relying on touring. And that's the thing, like a lot of indie artists might not know, is some artists are like slaves to the road, like they have to tour. And there's others that tour because it's just incredible business, and it is amazing money and whatnot. There's two sides to that I know that because you crush it with the touring and the shows. But anyways, I stopped touring, so I had to figure out how to market online, right? And I had to learn how to make offers and run Facebook and Instagram ads, and building the email list and having merch. And I learned about print on demand, and that was awesome. But now, since 2019, I'd say around there is when I started to see my streams like double, triple, and all of a sudden we hit over 1 million monthly listeners, and we're at 900 and something thousand right now. And I really believe, again, that comes back to good songs, but also collaborations. We live in the collaboration economy, and by tapping into other artists' fan bases, whether you're paying for a feature, or just splitting the master, writing together, just working and tapping into each other's fan bases. Cause like, it's so cool, right? Like I always use the example of like, you walk into Starbucks and you see the pretty girl and you want to go talk to her, and you can go up to her yourself, or you can figure out that her friend works at Starbucks, or you can get the introduction. Who's going to win, the one that gets the introduction or the dude that walks up cold, right? And this is the same thing with fans, right? Like if you get it, you're literally getting an introduction to someone's already built fan base. Like, I'm sorry, but that just converts so much more than them seeing some cold random ad. Both are great. I'm not saying only do one or the other. I'm saying do both, but I'm just saying like the collaboration economy is here. Like you can do collabs sometimes for free, or you can invest and pay for it. And I've just seen, that's what I wish I did more of, Christine.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't have such a big ego. I wish that I didn't think I had to write the song, and I wouldn't allow somebody on my shine. You know what I mean? Like now on my latest record, we got like 5 or 6 collabs, and it's just like, I'm tapping in all these dudes' fan bases, and every time they release a new song and someone finds them, there's a good chance that they're gonna find my record now too. And it's just like this, it's like all these little what do you call them, like fish, what am I saying, little lines, little fish lines out there that are bringing in new fans. So sorry for my long rant, but that's the story.
No, I think that's golden. And I love that you touched on ego, because I think my younger self too, I was like, I'm so talented, I don't need to do this, or I don't need to do that, or you know what I mean? Like we just focus on the talent. Like I'm just so good. Someone needs to just pick me up and do it all for me. And that is like, that'll be the destruction of your career, like ego. And then it's so funny because I think you and I have probably talked about this before, but it's like now the more that I know, the more I realize what I don't know. It's like there's so much more out there. And for us, like, let's get rid of that ego. Let's get rid, like, we got to learn, we got to take control of our careers. Nobody owes us anything. The world doesn't owe us anything because we're talented or whatever. We got to go out, we got to make it happen. So I love that you touched on that. So awesome. Well, what I'm excited about is you're actually going to share, it's a 5-day challenge, correct? Coming up that We're going to be, I'm going to be inviting all of my people to come join. And let's talk about what that is, because you're going to help everybody actually. And I've talked about funnels so much. I've talked about how this can help, artists actually make money with their music. And I know that that's a big focus for you too. So can you tell everyone that's watching and tuning in, you're going to be doing a free 5-day challenge that they can learn, join. Let's talk about what they're going to learn and what you're going to teach them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, I get it. Some people are frustrated with Spotify, and it's some people, sometimes, and I get it, like not paying enough streams, but you get enough fans, like you are going to love Spotify. Like I believe like it's still one of the greatest opportunities out there. And it's all what you focus on. Like I could believe people could tour and make a ton of money, write for TV and film. It's whatever you focus on and what you want for your career. There's so many different paths. And so this challenge is focused on Spotify because it's been a game changer for me. Like I log in right now, I can see there's hundreds of people listening to my music. I call it Swiss dollars, streams while I sleep soundly, making money. And so for 5 days straight, we're just focusing on Spotify, and it's because it's what my audience has wanted. It's changed my life. And so day one, we talk about like the song release strategy and 7 alarming things you must know before you release a song. Okay. Day two, we talk about Spotify playlists and like the algorithmic playlists, the editorial playlists, and I'm gonna be covering different hacks to triple your chances. Like editorial playlists are huge. The algorithmic ones, though, and Spotify Discovery, which is currently in beta mode, which is going to be made available to everybody soon, just like how the Spotify Canvas, which is that 8-second loop that video loop you can add to your songs, that wasn't available to everyone right away. Spotify always kind of like leaks these tools out. And so we're going to be talking about all the different algorithmic playlists, editorial playlists. Day three is collaborations. To find out all those different collaboration strategies. Day four, Spotify ads for profits we're going to be covering. And then day five is the dirty truth about Spotify royalties and how to go to 6 figures without a record label. And so if artists get a VIP ticket, they get to ask me questions every single day live as well, because it's 2 hours, right? And the first hour is just Q&A with me. And they get to talk to me live over Zoom and ask questions, and I get to give them direct feedback. Or they can just get a regular ticket, which is the hour of the challenge. So there's 2 different tickets that they can get.
Oh, I'm so excited for this. I'm actually going to sit through this. I'm going to like watch it. I'm going to be in your VIP, like, well, I have a question. So I'm really excited because I know that like for the people that are on my list, I'm always like, this is how you do it. This is how you create the most money. But what I love about even this, you and I are collaborating on this. I have talked so much and pushed so much on funnels. And now you come with this whole other perspective on how Spotify has worked very, very well and has been very, very profitable for you. So that's why I love this, because this offers a whole other perspective that I haven't given. So this is going to be really cool because this is, I think, just exciting for everyone to kind of see what's out there and what's possible.
Yeah.
And for everyone watching, like 1 million streams on Spotify pays a little over $4,000. That's just 1 million. And he's done 130 million. Do the math. He's making really good money right now with Spotify. So congratulations. That's really, really incredible. I think it's awesome that you're going to be offering this knowledge for everybody. So everyone that's watching, we're going to have a link somewhere. So if you're watching on, depending on where you're watching, there might be a link down below or a link somewhere on here so that you can join this free challenge. He's going to be showing you guys how he's used Spotify profitably, how we got that 130 million streams Spotify plaque. And he's also done that. You see that gold plaque back there? He's done also $1 million back there in the music industry, so, which is really, really awesome. So last, I just want to say, like, is there anything else that you would share? Like, again, I love the whole concept, and I hear this all the time. If somebody, and maybe collaborations is your answer, but if you lost everything, what would you do? Like in the next, like if you had the next, like maybe 6 months, what would be your focus? So this kind of helps people that are starting out and they like need to focus on one thing. Because sometimes we get inundated with like, I got to do YouTube, I got to do Spotify, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to. But if you had to just say one thing is going to change your world, what would that one thing be?
Yeah, that's so good. Well, first I would say you got to focus, follow one course until successful. I always say a fighter isn't someone who never fails. A fighter is someone who never quits. I've fallen down. I wasn't born with a golden spoon in my mouth. I lost my dad to suicide when I was 5 years old. We all have a story of struggle that we've been through, but we got to, instead of letting that take us out, we need to paint the pain. We need to write the stories, write the songs, and stand on that and make that story of struggle something that can impact somebody's life in a song. And I would say, if I was, starting over, it would definitely be, writing songs, collaborating with people, right? Whether I given them 50% of the song or whatever it is, like if I had no money or whatnot, I'd be trying to say, like, who can I work with to get a product going? so that I can probably then go perform and find where I can busk, go play at a bar, wherever it is, perform and make money. Because that was actually, we didn't get into it, but the only reason I survived before I owned my music was touring and literally sending 50 to 100 emails a day just to get 10 responses. So yeah, 50 to 100 emails a day to get 10 responses to get 3 shows booked, one to 3 shows booked. And so, I just want to encourage artists, like, you can do this. Like, yeah, 130 million streams. I'm not a household name. Majority of you had never heard of me, and like, anyone can do this. There is so much opportunity. So don't get anxiety about this. Don't get overwhelmed. Get like anticipation, get pumped up, because like, you're living in the best time ever. The walls are down, and you're in the right place if you're hanging out with Christine. So
awesome. Thank you so much. I just got goosebumps. So I love your story. I love just everything about what you're doing. And so I'm just really excited. Thank you so much for being here. Everyone that's watching, join the free 5-day challenge. He's going to be
not free. It's not free though. It's
not a free. Okay,
yeah.
Not a free 5-day challenge. So okay, he has the VIP and the regular ticket. My apologies. But join this challenge, because man, I'm just excited. I'm joining. I'm going to be tuning in because I have so much to learn here today. So or during the challenge. So thank you so much. I'll be putting that link somewhere around here. And thank you again.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.